Cancer. It's a word that inspires an emotional response. Fear, sadness, anger, but also courage, inspiration, and hope. Cancer will touch nearly every one of us throughout our lives. For nearly 75 years, the Canadian Cancer Society has led the fight against all forms of cancer. Thanks to the generosity of our donors and volunteers, the Society is able to fund world-class research and provide programs and services that support cancer patients and their families in communities throughout Manitoba.
He felt one tumor, but there were actually 9 tumors throughout his body. I didn't want him to go through this alone. I wanted to, we are engaged at this point, and I told him, I want to marry you. I want us to be together. The day after we were married, Ted started what turned out to be 18 months of chemotherapy.
Bev Tathorn is an inspirational cancer survivor. Bev received a diagnosis of colon cancer in December 2000. Shortly after, Bev had a lumpectomy and was treated with radiation. Bev was cancer-free for 9 years and then received another blow. She is now being treated for incurable bone cancer.
The last 2 years that I have known I've had bone cancer, I have not deteriorated thanks to the medication I have received. And without the research, we wouldn't have that medication. So I am very lucky. And lucky just to be alive.
It was absolutely terrifying because, I mean, you never think that something like that's going to happen, especially in your grade 12 year, your last year of high school, and this happens. Bombshell.
When Dr. Wong said that there wasn't just the one tumor, there were 9, and that Ted should go home and make arrangements with his family, we were shocked.
When I first heard, I was speechless. I lived with my son, who was about 15 years old at the time, and it was just the 2 of us. I have no family here in Winnipeg, and it's like, oh my God, who do I talk to? I couldn't believe this was happening to me.
Millions of thoughts were going through my mind. I was petrified.
The Cancer Society recognizes that research is the key to defeating cancer disease and provides more research funding than any other charity in Canada. Nearly $500 million in the last 10 years alone.
We've carried out many studies, again, all directed at trying to understand quality of life issues for patients and families dealing with cancer. We've examined issues such as depression in patients with life-limiting illness. We've developed outcome measures that can help healthcare providers get a sense of what is causing distress for patients and families.
The Cancer Society is proud to be the voice for cancer patients working to effect change within the healthcare system. As a result of advocacy efforts, 9 out of 10 Manitobans supported provincial funding for cancer treatment and drugs taken outside a hospital setting.
Well, I think we should be explicitly clear and grateful about the incredible role that the Canadian Cancer Society played in help shaping our decision to fund the home cancer drug program.
18 months of chemotherapy. Each month's chemotherapy was $4,000. How could you afford that?
The cancer alone was scary, but all the consequences that go along with the treatments and everything were terrifying enough as well. When I was going through treatments, my dad didn't have coverage for the medication that I was prescribed, and it cost him quite a bit of money. But he did it.
The change in legislation immediately lifted a huge financial burden for many Manitoba families. It also meant that patients in rural areas could remain in their communities to fight their cancer close to family and friends.
We really want these families and these patients to focus on winning that fight against cancer and nothing else.
On behalf of the Canadian Cancer Society, I'd like to thank the thousands of Manitobans who volunteer, participate in special events, attend functions, and canvass door to door. Your contribution is critical for continuing the fight. And to our corporate partners and donors, thanks to your generosity, we are able to be active in 110 communities, reaching more than 400,000 Manitobans.
The researchers, the doctors, the scientists, everyone involved plays an important part. People donating to enable this, very important. I am ever so grateful.
I'm so thankful that Ted is healthy now. I'm optimistic that with the drugs, that we'll have a happy, long life together, long marriage.
My quality of life, my appreciation of life has increased, improved with this journey, and it is a gift wrapped in barbed wire.
You're doing a great job. You're making other people happy, even if they're not the ones who have cancer. You're making the families of the person who has cancer get to see them longer, or even cure them, which I know has happened, which happened to me, which I was cured, and I cannot thank them enough.